Hi, I'm Dave Layfield with ApartmentSmart.com and Affordable Housing Online. It's Wednesday, October 8th, 2014. Welcome to our weekly Section 8 update. We work hard to maintain the most current database of Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher waiting lists available. We are continually monitoring for Section 8 waiting list openings so you don't have to. We update our website, AffordableHousingOnline.com, and our Facebook page daily. Every Wednesday, we send out an email alert summarizing all of the waiting list openings we've discovered over the past week. To stay informed about Section 8 waiting lists in your area, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter or Google+, look for this weekly video update on YouTube, sign up for our email alerts, or just visit our website regularly. This is a big week for us. This is our first video update, and we have some big city Section 8 waiting list openings to tell you about. Also, be sure to watch the whole video. We'll be answering one of our users' questions at the end of the video. Specifically, can anyone apply for a Section 8 waiting list even if they don't live in the city that is opening up? So like I said, big week, right? As of today, we're tracking 87 housing authorities which have open Section 8 waiting lists, 12 that are opening soon, and 18 that closed in the last 30 days. Let's start with those that recently closed. Of those 18 that closed in the last 30 days, there are a few pretty big ones. Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, Champaign County, Illinois, Sacramento, California, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Denver, Colorado, all closed in the last few weeks. All of these Section 8 waiting list openings saw record numbers of applicants. For example, in Charlotte, North Carolina, the week before last, 10,000 people applied online on the first day of a 5-day open period. To see the complete list of Section 8 waiting lists that recently closed, check out our Section 8 waiting list page. If you Google Section 8 waiting list, we're the first non-ad link in the search results. Now, on the waiting lists that are open now, but will be closing soon, there are 11 waiting lists that are open now and will be closing by November. A couple of larger ones to check out before they close are Cochise County, Arizona, Wichita, Kansas, Seminole County, Florida, and Lafayette, Louisiana. These are all good-sized lists and are closing next week. If you live in these areas or are considering relocating to these areas and are in need of housing assistance, check out our waiting list page for more details. On to the breaking news. In the last few days, we've learned of a couple of huge waiting list openings. Cities that haven't been open for years are finally opening up. Our users have been asking about these cities over and over and over, and we can finally report that they will be opening soon. The three biggest openings just announced are Baltimore, Maryland, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Chicago, Illinois. Baltimore's waiting list hasn't been open since 2003. That's 11 years. It's an online-only application process, and the Baltimore Housing Authority expects more than 50,000 applications for the 25,000 waiting list slots they have available. Since the list hasn't been open in 11 years, we wouldn't be surprised if the Baltimore Housing Authority's estimate of 50,000 applications is far exceeded. Indianapolis's waiting list will be opening from October 20th to October 23rd. The application is online only. It's not first come, first served, so you can register for the lottery anytime during the 4-day period, and you have an equal chance of making it on the list. The last time the Indianapolis waiting list was open was in 2006, when more than 27,000 people applied. Given that an online application is much easier to complete than the old-fashioned paper apps, and the existence of social media and other sites like ours, we wouldn't be surprised to see the number of applicants top 50,000. We and many of our Chicago area users have been anticipating when the Chicago Housing Authority waiting list would open. There's been much speculation since a reference to opening their waiting list appeared in their 2014 draft annual plan. We just learned this week that the Chicago Housing Authority will be opening their Section 8 waiting list from October 27th to November 24th. It will be an online application, the first time the city's used this application method. The waiting list was last opened in 2008, and the most recent estimate of the number of people on the waiting list was around 15,000. An interesting thing to watch is how many vouchers CHA makes available. In recent months, the Housing Authority has been under fire when it was discovered it had tucked away more than $400 million that was meant for the Section 8 program. It's not clear yet whether or not any of those funds will be used to create brand new vouchers. If it does, this could be the most important waiting list opening in the city's history, as more persons than ever could be served. We've been tracking a few other smaller waiting lists that are opening soon. You may be interested in Pasadena, California, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Macon, Georgia, which includes Bibb County, Austin, Texas, Kauai, Hawaii, and Racine County, Wisconsin. For all those upcoming openings and Baltimore, Chicago, and Indianapolis, visit our Section 8 waiting list page for more information. Now, for that user-submitted question, can I apply for Section 8 waiting lists if I don't currently live in the area where the list is opening up? The answer is yes, you can. By right, anyone who is income eligible can apply to any Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher waiting list. This means that if you live in Orlando, Florida, and you meet the income requirements of Section 8 and wish to apply for the upcoming waiting list in, say, Chicago, you can. But there are a few things you need to remember. First, many housing authorities have established a local residency preference for their waiting lists. This means that anyone who lives or works in the local area will be moved up to the top of the list in front of anyone who is not local. If the waiting list is many years long, it's likely that you may never reach the top of the list. Be sure to check your local residency preferences when applying. We also try to provide details on local residency preferences with all of our updates. Another important point to consider is that if you receive a voucher as a result of applying to a Section 8 waiting list in another city, you'll be required to move to that city and remain there for at least a year. Only after a year may you port the voucher out to another city. And lastly, there may be some logistical issues to consider. If the housing authority requires you to be physically present for any part of the application process, which many of them do, it may be logistically difficult and expensive to travel to that city. Make sure you know what you're getting into. If you have a question about Section 8 that you'd like us to answer in next week's Section 8 update, post it on our Facebook page and we'll get to it. That's it for this week's Section 8 update. I hope we helped with your housing search.